Guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be talking about some massive news that was just announced literally yesterday. We're having Brilliant Star booster box reprints officially confirmed starting next week. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, got to get out of the way, we are doing our weekly giveaways. All you have to do to be entered into the giveaways is be subscribed and then leave a like and comment down below on any of the videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, as I mentioned before in last video, I said I was running out of Brilliant Star and we didn't know when it was confirmed that the reprints were going to happen, so I might not be able to have enough for the next couple weeks. Well, I'm definitely going to be having enough until Astral Radiance. So we're going to be giving out a full booster boxes worth of Brilliant Star packs each and every week. Three winners will each be receiving 12 packs in total. So 3 opportunities to enter because you can comment and like on each video, and then 3 opportunities to win. So we're going to be giving away a lot of packs, and honestly, I am super excited to get into today's topic. So, and it's, you know, kind of ironic too, because, and this will be the intro right here, but it's kind of ironic how yesterday's video, it was me basically talking about how, like, man, guys, I just think that Millennium Print Group, now that they've announced that, this is going to be some huge news. We could probably expect some reprints soon. And, you know, I know Danny Phantom had made a video saying that there's going to be one in May. So it's like, you know, you got to assume there's like a reprint coming. There has to be a reprint coming. And so when, of course, initially, you know, I dropped the news yesterday, I was literally like, or on Monday, sorry, today's Wednesday. I was like, all right, there's got to be like some reprints coming soon because we're losing it, right? And then literally the next day, I get word from my distributor, here's your allocations for Brilliant Star booster boxes. Now, I'm going to go into my allocation numbers, and I'm going to also talk about an asterisk on it as well in regards to how much I got allocated and why it shouldn't alarm you. And here's the reasoning behind that. So for those people that are wondering, I am getting 10 booster boxes. Just 10. I know you might say, wow, this must be a very small reprint. You only got 10? Well, let me explain on why that's not that big of a deal. My distributor who allocated me 10 is, how do I want to say this? They're known for not initially selling everything out the gate because they know how high the demand is. So more than likely what I'm going to see is I'm going to go to my distributor's page. They're going to say, here's your 10 you can buy for $100 because that's how much I'm buying them for. And then on top of that, if I want to buy more from them, they're going to probably charge me $120 plus. So knowing how they do it, that's exactly it. I'd be surprised if it was $105 or $110. Maybe eventually down the line they would charge me that amount. If, let's say, the price begins to crash, which I'll more than likely get ready for the price to crash. And we're going to talk about that. But I would not be too concerned. Like I said before, this distributor is known for kind of hoarding product because they know they can get higher margins and then just send out a small amount. So some distributors do that because, I mean, they're a business at the end of the day. If the demand's there and people are willing to buy it for that price, then they're going to be able to do that. And eventually, if, you know, it doesn't work out, then they'll list it at lower prices. So that's just kind of my main point on that. But as far as it goes, outside of what I'm being allocated, the expected shipment date from my distributor they're going to ship out to me this upcoming Monday, I want to say, is when it's shipped out to me. So at this point, I've already listed some of the Brilliant Stars booster boxes available. So for those people that have purchased, I only put up, I think, 5 at the most. So for the 5 people that did purchase, if you, of course, bought it individually, because, I mean, it sold out immediately, please, fair warning, you're probably not going to have it shipped out to you until sometime early next week. I do apologize. I know I usually have a 7 to 9 day shipping kind of thing, so it's probably going to be a little bit over that. I do apologize, but so outside of that, though, the main question that everyone's, of course, going to be asking me is, all right, Eli, what's the price going to be for Brilliant Star? And then probably the most exciting point of after that is, all right, when's Evolving Skies' turn? But as far as it goes with Brilliant Stars booster boxes, there's no confirmation of how big this wave is going to be, but I'm going to have to believe it's probably going to be an absolutely massive wave. And the only reason why, of course, this is all speculative, I gotta say that now, don't have a crystal ball, but the reason why I speculatively say, even with what I got allocated, that is probably a massive wave, is because if we look at the history of kind of what happened during the large amount of reprints leading up to the Fusion Strike set, you had Evolving Skies, you had Battle Styles, you had Chilling Reign, you had just a large amount of this product just reprinted all at once, and it absolutely tanked all the booster box prices. So the fact that we've had to wait this long just to get any sort of booster box reprints, and the last time we had to wait this large amount of time for any booster box reprints, it just has me believing that there's probably going to be a correlation. And in my personal opinion, once again, this is extremely speculative. We just heard the Millennium printing news. We just got Brilliant Stars booster box reprints confirmed for next week. And as we remember what happened last time, as mentioned before, we had 4 or 5 sets just all get booster box reprints all at once. So potentially, this is of course with a big potentially, if history repeats itself, then I am going to make a very bold statement and say more than likely we could see Evolving Skies booster box reprints within the next month of May. Now, of course, that could be, before the set. It could be after the set, like near the end of May. It could be around the same time. We don't know. There's no confirmation, of course, that there's even going to be one. But I just want to take a bold statement right now. And of course, we can look back and say, hey, was Eli wrong? Was Eli right? Is there going to be one? And honestly, I think that in regards to Evolving Skies as well, I think it would correlate perfectly in regards to the prices for what you're seeing for Evolving Skies booster boxes right now. I mean, if you just take a look at what they're selling for, so interestingly enough, the prices have gone down a little bit. So it looks like they have found their kind of cap out, which is actually hilarious because for those people that do remember, the overall highest price met was $189 on the chart. That was the highest market price that we saw when we were looking at the chart. The highest market price that we have seen currently on the chart is $185. That was between this last current week. And so for those people that are like, oh, well, Eli, it sold for $190, so that should mean that it's broken it. But yeah, it sold for over almost $200. I remember I myself was selling Evolving Skies for $195, $199. But we're looking at the chart. We're not looking at what it sells for because this gives you the weekly average. So, because obviously, as you can see, it's from the 5th to the 11th. So that's what we're kind of looking at, more the weekly average. So once it breaks this weekly average, then we'll kind of make that argument of has the all-time high broken. But I'm just going to say, the fact that we're already at the all-time high and after the reprint, you saw the price go down to as low as $115. I would say that it's going to be very unlikely unless this Millennium Millennium Print Run group, whatever their name is, news is going to put them to full capacity, that it brings it down to 100. Very unlikely. However, that's for TCG Player. For those people that don't remember, I think on TCG Player, the lowest it did get to was 105, 110. Sites like myself, I was selling it for, I think at one point as low as like $97, $98. You're probably going to see Game Nerds. You're going to probably see some of the other sites that I mentioned for cheap opportunities like eBay, that you could potentially see them for $100. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it for $110, but hypothetically, that's if it reprints right now and we see a reprint to scale of what was Wave 2 for Evolving Skies. And Wave 2 was a pretty big wave. So if it's not a massive wave, I would say if you're lucky, we can get it for around 120, which honestly, at that point, because people are always going to ask me the question, Eli, what's going to be your buying price points for Evolving Skies? Of course, I want to wait until I see a flat line. So basically, obviously, if you look at the past month, it's been up. But if you have just a flat line point, and we can't even look at it on the chart because it's been so much, but if you take a flat line point like this, where, it was about a month of the price of the product just kind of going stagnant between 140 and then 145. That was what it was going stagnant for a while for. So if we were to see something like that, where for a couple of weeks to a month, you kind of see it kind of go sideways for that price point, and let's say that price point is 120, let's say that price point's 130, then that's where I'm going to make my argument for it's the bottom. But if it, hypothetically speaking, gets a reprint, a week later, it immediately hits 120, and then they're like, all right, Eli, your price point to bottom was 120, should I get in now? I would say, well, we don't know because it's only been a week and it's already crashed that rapidly. There's an argument to be made. You could probably see the price of the Evolving Skies booster boxes go even lower. So in all honesty, I'm gonna hold off I'm gonna hold on to my reservations in regards to making any sort of statement on what I potentially would say the bottom is. Obviously, I've mentioned about my price range between 100 to 120. Now, of course, for those people that are like, Eli, well, what about if it does hit 120 and let's say hypothetically speaking, I'm okay with dollar cost averaging in down to 110 or 100, but I just don't want to miss the boat. Is 120 a good price? Honestly, at this point, considering we've seen how much of a demand that it is for this set, I do think 120 is a solid price. I would say, of course, for myself, I'm going to be shooting for around that $100 price point, that 110 price point if I can. But if you get 120 and then you just dollar cost average in, I'm not going to fault you. Because hypothetically, if it does 120 and then immediately rebounds, then congratulations, you just got the bottom for one of the most, desired sets in all of, the Sword and Shield block. So that's kind of what I would say in regards to that. But obviously this is all, speculative in regards to Evolving Skies. But just once again, going over the fact that the Millennium Print Group news really just shows what the Pokemon Company's future is going to kind of look like. Of course, I've also had a lot of people ask me the question, well, what about other sets that are still in rotation? What about Champion's Path? What about Sword and Shield Base? What about Rebel Clash? As I've mentioned many times before, if you're new to the channel, I'm just going to go over it briefly. You can watch a lot of my other videos that talk about it, but it's still in rotation before, Worlds comes up this August. So hypothetically, it's possible. If I were you, personally speaking, wait till May. And if by the end of May, you don't see any news of it, then I would say it's more than likely not going to happen. So, because either we'll hear news about it, or it'll happen in May in regards to the reprints. So, because as I mentioned before, we could see just an absolute dumpage of reprints. We could see, obviously Brilliant Stars is going to be getting reprinted this upcoming week. You could see Evolving Skies get absolutely reprinted. You could see Fusion Strike get reprinted. Hell, there's even an argument or a floating rumor around that Celebrations is going to get potentially reprinted. Of course, that has not been 100% confirmed, so we can't really say that. And for a lot of people that are saying, well, it is, and this is something I do want to point out, well, it is obviously in the, technically speaking, rotational format for competitive for at least another year. The one thing you have to understand about Celebrations is, it does have competitive cards, don't get me wrong. You've got the Kyogre deck, you have the Groudon deck, but it's one of those specialty sets where, I would say that especially after the announcement they make, it's less likely that you could see the reprint, but it's highly possible. So, and if they are going to do it, it'll probably be one quick reprint for an ETB and move on, because the only time we've really seen something like that happen was Generations. And I talked about this in the last live stream yesterday, where basically people were saying, Eli, were you kind of surprised when you heard the announcement that there's potentially going to be no reprints for Celebrations? And I said, honestly, at first I kind of was, but then after doing more research with Generations, they kind of did the same thing with the Generation set back in 2016. Obviously, one of the other special celebration like anniversary type sets for the 20th anniversary. So it was not extremely, it didn't catch me off guard. At first it did, and then when I did a little bit more research, I'm like, actually, this kind of makes sense if they were to do that. So hypothetically, there is a possibility they could have one reprint wave within May. It's totally up for a potentially speaking, but who knows? If it doesn't happen, I also would not be surprised at the same exact time, because the set in and of itself is one of those, once in every 5 years, and so they really like to do it as like the special hoorah celebration and then move on. So but of course, we haven't really had that many special sets that have come out every single 5 years that I can really think of off the top of my head. So there's still in the grand scheme of things, small amount of history that we can really go back and look to on what they could potentially do in regards to Celebrations print runs. So now, of course, the general next question has to be asked. How far are these reprints going to go? How deep are these reprints going to go? And ultimately, to answer that, I think the safest argument that we can currently make right now, obviously Astral Radiance upcoming set, so you're going to probably expect that one to get printed pretty heavily. Brilliant Star, we know it's getting the reprint. Evolving Skies, more than likely going to get the reprint. Fusion Strike, still competitively viable, one of the most competitively viable sets in Standard, so won't be surprised if Fusion Strike will get a reprint. Who knows if it's going to be ETBs? Who knows if it's going to be booster boxes? But as we've seen already, Vivid Voltage, Shining Fates, and Darkness Ablaze all had ETB reprints. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could see those sometime happen within the next year or so, because obviously they're still in the competitive format. Heck, you could even make an argument that they could do another Chilling Reigns reprint. I would be very surprised if they did one for Battle Styles, but that's mainly just because the fact is Battle Styles is actually the only set in the current Sword and Shield era block that's had an extra reprint outside of its initial 3 waves, because it had wave 1 where it was at 150 to 160 at its peak. Wave 2 went down all the way to 120. Wave 3 dropped below $100, went all the way back to 105 because the demand for the set was actually really high. As much as people like to crap on it, yes, there is a ton of demand for battle styles. Then of course it got its initial, and then it got a reprint. So that's what brought it back down to as low as the 80s after it hit 105. So going from 120 to 90, and then going from 105 to 80, like that just makes sense, mathematically speaking. The like price gouging ranges, or not price gouging, sorry, that's a really wrong term, but just the price volatility ranges. But in regards to Chilling Reigns, we haven't seen that with Chilling Reigns. If I'm correct, Chilling Reigns has only had about 2 or 3 waves that have come out. So, because basically for those people that don't know, Chilling Reign had its initial wave. And we can actually probably see this on a chart because it's been going out for about a year now. Let's see, yeah, we should be able to on the yearly see the chart. So let's go to Chilling Reigns. But initially speaking, the set was pre-ordering for around 140, 150 to my knowledge. We'll take a look. So set came out, and looks like we don't have that far back of information, dang. But basically, to my knowledge, it was pre-ordering for around 140, 150. Set came out. Then you saw the set price crash all the way down to 120. Then over time, it just kept climbing because wave 2 kept getting pushed back and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And then finally, we got our wave 2 all the way leading into late October, early November. So, and it pushed back all the way up to 150. And then of course you saw an absolute crash. Now this was for when wave 2 came out, and wave 2 was a massive wave. So there's an argument to be made that basically there's only been 2 waves of Chilling Reigns, and there was not an expected third wave to my knowledge. I could be wrong. It could have been wave 2 and 3 got released both at the same time, but Chilling Reign is a set that hasn't had another print. So I think there's a strong argument to be made that you could see Chilling Reign push upwards of $100. It's already at around 95 right now when you're talking about this site. Obviously you can get it for cheaper at other places, but if we're talking about just straight the charts on TCG, there's an argument to be made it can go up to $100, $105, and then Chilling Reign is one of these sets that does get reprinted within the next couple weeks, and you could see the price go all the way back down to $80. So for those people that feel like they're FOMOing of Chilling Reigns, I would say hold your horses. The only thing I would say right now that's pretty safe in regards to reprints at the current moment in time is Elite Trainer boxes. I don't expect them to do Elite Trainer box reprints. They're obviously more focused on printing out the actual cards themselves. So who knows? Obviously, this is all speculation because now that we know that Brilliant Stars is getting reprinted, now that we know from confirmation on Monday for the purchase of the Millennium Print Group, we're just saying to ourselves, all right, what's going to get reprinted next? Because this is all just starting to really line up to the Pokemon companies about ready to rain hell on the overall prices of a lot of these sets that have been really been starting to rise. So I think this is massive news, and I think more importantly this is massive news for Evolving Skies, because I do think Evolving Skies does have a potential of going back down to at least 120 depending upon how big this print is, as low as 100 personally speaking, but we don't know. Obviously first time went all the way up to around, like I said, that 189 price point, dropped down to 115. So could do it again. History could repeat itself, and at that point, who knows how low it could go depending upon if they're just going to keep printing to demand. So, but that is fine by me. That's all I can say. So, because the prices on these cards are ridiculous too. I think the Umbreon's pushing several like $330 some odd dollars, so it's insane. But we've been going for 20 minutes, not that long a video, but we're going to do the final wrap up. Obviously, I got the main points out of the way. So, main points out of the video. Number 1, Brilliant Stars booster box print is going to be coming this upcoming week. So starting next week, you should be expecting to see Brilliant Stars booster boxes be available for sale at a lot cheaper of a price. People obviously are going to ask me, what's a good price to get in on? I'm going to probably say you're going to be able to more than likely get it for around 100 to 110. That's probably going to be a good price. You could probably at some point get it for cheaper. We don't know, but that's kind of going to be my point for picking it up. Next point of the video, obviously the hypothetical discussion on Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies from a charting perspective technically hasn't broken its all-time high. I know obviously people said obviously it sold over 189, but once again, we're not talking about what it sold for. We're talking about what the average of the week is. The average of the week was 189. The average of the week is 185.86. There's a hypothetical possibility and honestly, in my opinion, a high probability that you could see, based on what history's shown, Evolving Skies is going to get a reprint sometime within the upcoming month, and you could see the price actually double top and then range all the way back down to as low as 120 or even as low as 100, potentially speaking. Not on TCG Player, but just general other sites. So it's entirely possible. This is obviously hypothetical. Then leading into the last kind of main points, question of course being, now that we've got confirmation for Brilliant Star reprints and we're more than likely going to get an Evolving Skies one relatively soon, what other sets could potentially get reprints? People ask me questions. Hypothetically speaking, since it is still in the rotational block before it goes out after Worlds, you know, there is an argument to be made that Sword and Shield base sets and Rebel Clash booster boxes have a chance of getting reprinted. I think it's unlikely, but I would say more than likely you're gonna see probably Fusion Strike and even Chilling Reign potentially get reprinted on top of the Evolving Skies and Brilliant Stars reprint, if we do see the same kind of drop of product just all at once like we did back in the kind of late October, November area. Right before Fusion Strike, we had just a huge amount of booster box reprints. You know, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Fusion Strike came out, Evolving Skies, Chilling Reign, Battle Styles. So we had 6 sets that all just got booster boxes. 2 of them, of course, were not reprints, so technically 4 speaking. So 4 would be Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, and then Chilling Reign. So that's just kind of what my predictions are going to be. And there's no confirmation of this. This is not, of course, financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. There's just a high probability, based on what we've heard over the past couple of days, that you could see a large amount of reprints happen this upcoming month. So I would say now is not the time to FOMO. It's time to be a little bit patient and play the waiting game, because prices are going to be free falling. But as far as it goes, as always, make sure to leave a like, comment down below if you enjoy the content and want to be entered into our weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed, and like I said, comment and like on the videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are officially going to be giving out a full booster box of Brilliant Stars each and every week. 3 winners will each be receiving 12 packs, and we're going to keep doing this until Astral Radiance is announced, and then we're going to, of course, then transition to Astral Radiance packs. Now, of course, people are going to be asking, what's the next milestone? Next milestone is going to be 5,000 subscribers. Once we hit the price point of 5,000 subscribers, we're going to kind of potentially change how we do it. Personally speaking, I think it would be fun is if we changed it, instead of being 3 people, we would have 4 people win. I'm going to probably put up a poll for that on tomorrow's live stream, but as far as it goes right now, that's going to be what we're giving away for at least the next month before we hit 5,000 subs. But yeah, so 3 opportunities to enter and then 3 opportunities to win. So we're always going to be giving away a ton of Pokemon product back to you guys. But as far as it goes, that is all I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys on Friday. Peace.